We ready? Yeah, here we go. All right, you guys, guess what? So, all we have to do to finish our exterior bag and put it out of the way is we're going to baste our straps on. This way, when we are assembling the bag, we don't have to worry about the straps getting all twisted and going the wrong way and all that stuff. So we're going to make it right first just by basting, and then we won't have to worry. So how we're going to do that, remember the crease that we put in our bag, which is like a seam, but it's really a crease. That is how we're going to be aligning our strap, okay? So we are going to take the fat end of our straps, we're going to fold it, and we are going to make a mark on it. And thank you, Sherry. Good eye. Okay, so we're going to make a mark. I mark it on both sides just to help me line it better. I line it better. So we're squeezing it in half. And you can make a crease, but it really doesn't show enough for you to be able to manage it. So I just make a mark here and here. That way I can align it properly. So that mark we just made is going to go in that crease. We're going to line it up to that crease. And then we'll just baste it on. So I'm going to take the fleece part. Remember, there's 101 on one side and fleece on the other. I'm going to take the fleece part and line that up with my mark on that crease, right like that. I'm going to use a couple wide mouth clips to hold it in place. Okay, I might just put one in the middle just for the heck of it. Okay, now we're going to make sure we pull. I dropped something again. We're going to pull this and make sure it's not bent or it's not twisted. And then we're going to reach this up to the other side. Match it up like that. We're going to put a few clips in it. And then we're going to just stick it right in our machine. Now remember, you have this that might get in your way. This might get in your way. So make sure you're pushing this out of your way so that when you're going under your needle, there is nothing underneath where you're going to be sewing. So we're going to just slide it right in here. We're just going to baste it on. And I like to go back and forth pretty good on it just to make sure it's in there nice and good and it's not going anywhere. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. I put 3 clips so while I'm fooling with the other side, it doesn't shift on me. So just make sure you're pushing this stuff out of your way. Get it nice and flat. Now we don't have to worry about if the strap is going to be twisting because we've got it basted in here. Okay, we're just going to slide it underneath there. Baste it back and forth. Okay. And we can, you can even pull your strap up and look at it. Isn't it nice?
Yes, it's beautiful.
So that's the way it's going to be, but at least we don't have to worry when we're tucking this into the interior part that it's going to be getting messed up. Now, at this point, you can go ahead and trim off that excess because we're not going to need that for our assistance anymore. So you can just take your precision scissors and cut it even with the rest of your bag. Okay? Same way with this little flip-a-tois here. You could just cut it off. Okay? All right. Now, we're going to be, I'll just set this over here on the ironing station, and we're going to go to the cutting board and start on our interior lining stuff and our placket. So I'm just going to put this over here, and Sherry's going to move her iPad, and we're going to get going. So we are on page 3 on the interior lining zipper part. So we're going to get our colorful zipper, and we're going to get one of our interior lining pieces, and we're going to get our interior zipper lining piece. Okay, the first thing you want to do is grab your pen. And like I said, you don't have to have an erasable one because you're just marking it in the seam allowance and it's not going to be shown. So this is our interior lining piece. This is the pocket lining. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and bend it in half and get our halfway point. Okay, you can crease it. And I also like to stick my pen in that crease and mark it. I often have a hard time to see if I just crease it. So I like to be able to see it good. And hopefully you can see that good too. So all we did was bend this in half and make our halfway point. This piece here, this long, we're going to do it long ways like this. We are going to bend this in half and get the halfway point too.
Bend it or fold it?
Fold it, bend it. Y'all know what I mean. Why you gotta give me a hard time?
Because that's my job.
So I just like to mark it on both sides. So we're going to do right sides together. And remember, all this long part's going to be hanging down like this. It's fine. So match this mark up to this mark and just straighten it up there. And then I like to take a pin and hold it in place. Okay, just hold it like that. For this flopping around down in here, I like to pin it out of the way as well, just so I'm not having to deal with it when I take it to the machine and sew it. What we are doing is creating our zipper, interior zipper lining. So we've got our colorful zipper is the one we're going to be using. So you're going to take your ruler placement, your zipper placement ruler, and remember we got the halfway point on that. This is 2 inches. This part's 2 inches. So we're going to measure down. I shouldn't have put my pin there yet. We're going to measure down 2 inches and then do our zipper. So we don't have to measure anything. All we have to do is lay this on here, and it's in the perfect spot for this. Funny how that happened, huh? So I'm going to hold this, and I'm just going to trace the rectangle. And you want to, do it bold enough to where you can see it, because you're going to be sewing on these lines that you're making. Okay? So make you a nice seeable. Is that even a word? Anyway.
Seeable?
Visible?
I was just going to say,
I knew that
like
wasn't quite right.
Or...
Yeah. So we made this rectangle. And what we're going to do is take our pin and go in about 1/4 inch from each of these corners and make a little triangle like so. Let me see. Let me mark this one and put my pin in, and then I'll tilt it so you can see it better. So, and this doesn't have to be perfect, but let me show you what it looks like. So this is all pinned into place, and then I'm going to put this right here where you can actually see what I drew on there. How about that? So not that fiddly, just go in and go towards the center from the corner. Now what is important when we go stitch this is that you don't have a rounded corner. You want to stop dead on your line, and that way when you're flipping the pocket lining through that hole, it's going to not have rounded on the outside. You'll see what I'm talking about once I stitch it. So right now all we're going to do is go and stitch just this rectangle here, and we'll go do that now.
gee, somebody didn't get their ruler in the kit, and I told them to email learn@martellinotions.com, and they'll get it for them. But the question they're asking is, what size is the inner rectangle, so that in case they want to do it before they get their ruler?
I want to say it's 8.5 inches, but Sherry's measuring right now.
Yeah, and it's let's see. It's the
Stay tuned. We're going to do this.
Stay tuned. We'll get you, Sandy.
So if you don't have that, you're measuring 2 inches down from the edge, and you're making that rectangle, which is only a 1/2 inch wide by, come on, Sherry.
Gee, I was waiting to interrupt.
Okay,
I
go
didn't want to
ahead.
interrupt you.
Okay, go.
Then you'd yell at me for that.
Okay.
It's 8.5 by
Okay.
1.
So by 1 or a 1/2? It's by a 1/2.
Oh, sorry.
So
Yeah.
8.5 by 1/2 is your rectangle.
Thank you.
Now, please know that if you cannot just push your button and drop your needle in the correct spot, if you're not real good at eyeballing that, just take your hand wheel and pull it towards you. Never turn your hand wheels away from you. And then we're going to drop it right in that corner. Okay? And now we're going to drop it, and we're going to just sew on that line. Okay.
See, even she slows down at this point.
Yes. And you know what? I don't have my rubber gloves on, or whatever they're made of, and having to keep a hold of this fabric without gloves on is not easy, especially I just
But they
washed
get
my
to
hands.
see your pretty nails, so that's, and you've had many comments about your nails being so pretty, just so you know.
Back to the project now. We are stitching very slowly when we're coming up to this corner, because we want to stop dead on that corner, okay? And if you have to kind of pull your fabric so it doesn't advance to get to the one next stitch, you can do that. Now you're going to turn it and go down that line, the little 1/2 inch line here. Right now you're not worried about these triangles at all. We're just going to be stitching right along that line we drew. I got too much stuff in the throat of my machine over here. Okay, here we go. Now you want to really slow down when you're getting to that corner, because you don't want a rounded corner. So we're going to slow down until we get exactly to where we can nail that corner right in. Okay, and then come down your little short side again. Now my stitch jumped a little bit, and so I might have a little bit of a rounded corner, which I'm going to show you why you don't want that. If it indeed did stretch across there. Yeah, it's a little bit rounded, but we're gonna see. So now is the time that your trusty seam ripper comes in handy, or you can do it with your precision scissors. But I like to make my first punctures with the seam ripper. We're gonna go right here. Okay, so we're gonna punch in here, not our stitches, just right in the corner without hitting our stitches, like that. And we're just going to hold this and rip it towards that V, that point, that triangle, that angle, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to turn it a little bit and poke it through again. On the other side, just make sure you're not hitting your stitches. And we're going to rip it towards that center, and that should look like that about now. We're going to do it to the opposing side. We're going to stick it right down here in this corner without hitting our stitches. Drag it towards the center. Doesn't matter if you're right on your line or anything. That doesn't matter. We're just trying to get to the center of this
And not rip your
and
stitch.
not rip our stitches. So, okay, once you've got these two flappers going on, you're going to connect the dots, right? So I don't even leave my machine for this. I used to get up and go do it with the rotary, but you could just sit here and do it with your nice precision scissors. How about that? I said it right the first time.
That was a good one, G.
And just cut right down the center. Now, if you want to be particular, you can use a ruler and a rotary, but it's not that fiddly. Now, take out your bottom pin, and we're going to pass this through our hole to the back side. Okay, we're going to take out our top pin and pass this part through that hole to the back side. Now this takes some arranging. Sherry, can you start my iron, please? This takes a little bit of arranging. You can go to the iron and try and do this part, but I like to fool with it and then go to the iron last. So what you're trying to do here is make it so you're not seeing the one fabric to the other fabric. So you're just kind of, you know, making sure that you're finger pressing this and either pin or clip. So it, you know, once you straighten out a part, you're you could take a mommy stick or a stylus or something and try to get this nice and pushed out.
Real
and,
crisp.
And folded, yeah, crisp. Now, is it going to matter if something sticks, you know, if you see the one lining up against the other? No, it's not going to matter. It's not going to make a hill of beans difference. It's on the inside of your bag, and it doesn't have to be that difficult. Okay. So we're just working our way around. This is probably a better way to show you. I was doing it to be convenient to me and not remembering to show you guys. Okay. So we've got this side pretty straightened out. Okay. Pin or clip, and then kind of finger press this. We're going to go to the iron and press it. Now we got this side to mess with. Got your, just finger press the edge here, and then here, just stick something in here and kind of go along this seam here, and then the finger press it. I kind of do the edges first. And I'll show you, this got a little bit rounded here, but it's not that bad. And really, you don't need to be this picky, you guys.
It's not that fiddly.
I'm just trying to make it nice for you guys to see, but just finger press. And now we're going to go to the iron and press it good. And we'll take our double-sided sticky tape with us over there and our green zipper that we are going to put in there and iron this out, and we're going to put our double-sided sticky tape to hold our zipper in place till we come back to the machine and sew it. So let's go to the iron. We have a Teflon sheet up here that's not necessary anymore, so we can put that away. And okay, I can see much better up here. So we're just going to press this nice. We're going to look at it from the front here in just a second. All right. So let's look at this, what it's looking like. All right. How pretty is that? So you've got your nice hole there. Now, this is where you need to decide when this is closed, do you want your zipper to be on the left-hand side of this or the right-hand side of this? So I like mine going left to right, so when it's closed, I want it on the left. Now remember, we made this zipper way bigger than we needed. That's because we don't want to fool with the zipper head if we don't have to. So let's push this over here. We're going to lift this up and just let's take a look at what we're doing here. So you can go like this, kind of center it on there, right? And our zipper head's way over here, so we don't have to be bothered by it. Now what we could do is just pin this and take it to the machine and sew it. But what we're going to do is use the double-sided sticky tape. We're going to use the double-sided sticky tape and put this on here, and it's going to hold our zipper in place a little easier for us. Especially if you've never done zippers, this is really an easy way to do this. So this is going to look nice. I just wanted to explain what it's going to look like and where the zipper head is. But now we're going to bend this back, and we're going to put our double-sided sticky tape on either side of that opening. And just like with the straps, you're going to go right here on the edge, pull it across. Now this part here, you could use your cheaper tape for, and that's okay, because you just need it to be held in place just for a minute so you can go, oh, I just cut my fabric. Did I cut
Real life sewing, y'all.
I didn't cut all the way through. It's all right. Real life sewing, y'all. So this is just going to hold my zipper in place till I can go over there and sew it on. Okay? So I'm going to take this clip and smooth it out just like I did earlier. I'm going to see if I could just pull this up nice, quick. Nope. So let's just make a jab at it. And you can tell if it's not sticking down. Make a jab. Pull it up. And this time we are going to do both sides. Nope. So if you start to pull it up and you don't see that adhesive staying on your fabric, then try again.
Push it down firmly and then try
pull
again.
Up. Yeah. So there you have it. Now, we're going to just lay our zipper with the teeth down at this point. Our zipper head's out of the way. Smooth it out. Turn it and make sure that it looks nice, that it's not wonky.
That looks so
it's
good.
So pretty. You guys know Miss Green Lover, Amy Zellers, is the one who picked the zipper to go with this one. So we are going to go to the machine and we're going to stitch all the way around. Now remember, our zipper pull is over here. So we're going to start here. We're going to go around. When we get about to the same spot, we're going to put our zipper pull in here so we don't shut this up without having our zipper pull in the correct place. Okay? So let's go do that. Oh, grab my scissors, please.
I was going to.
That's
I already
right.
heard you before you said it.
Frankie wants to know if that little slip of the scissors was a flip-a-tois.
Oh,
Yes.
that was a good flip-a-tois. However, you cannot even tell it happened on the right side of the fabric, so that's good. So we're just going to do 1/8 of an inch top stitching, so three stitch length.
Gee, take a drink.
Yeah, you hear me? Okay. All right. So we're going to drop down in here about about 1.5 inches from the zipper pull edge. Okay. Going to drop down in here and pull that up. Pull the bottom thread up so we have some nice stitching, because this will be seen. Drop your needle back down. Get your threads out of the way. And let's go. Now we're just doing this nice top stitching just to get our zipper in place. Make a turn. You can look at the back at this point, because I'm going to tell you I did do one of these where I missed this zipper, so it was not attached. So just kind of look and make sure that your stitches are catching your zipper, okay? If you're doing an 1/8 inch sewing approximately, it will catch it. But I just wanted you to be aware of it, because I actually have one bag that I thought I brought to show you when you make that error what it looks like. But when I was going through my stuff, it wasn't with me. But you get the point. So we're going to come down this other side. I take my time on this one. As you can see, I'm not flying through, because I have to remember to get my zipper pull past where I've sewn. So I've got a loose thread right here I want to get out of my way. And so anyone who is scared to death of zippers, or you have never done an interior lining zipper, I hope this really makes you want to do zippers in all the linings of everything you do. No, I'm just kidding. But where it's appropriate. So right now I'm pushing this zipper pull down here out of my way. You don't want to do this with your zipper open the whole way, so you close as much as you can. That way the zipper's in a nice place, you know. Now
Makes it less fiddly.
Yes, makes it less fiddly. So we're going to go down here on the edge. And now we're going to come down here and meet our stitches. And I will be tucking these tails because I don't really want to run over them, because I just want my stitching to look nice. So I'll just go right up to that. Nice. And we're going to tie that off. And cut it, and then we'll bury this thread. Taking our self-threading needle, we're going to act like we're making a knot, stick our self-threader in there, run it down to the fabric, as close as you can to the fabric, pull it out, pop your self-threading needle into that thread there, and now just pass it through. Actually, you could just push it through the other side if you want, but there's some double-sided sticky tape, so it might not be that easy to push it through. So just push it through your fabric, pull it.
Give it a little scratchy scratch.
Pull the knot first, snip it, and then give it a little scratchy scratch, and it makes the hole disappear, and you have your zipper installed.
Look how pretty.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Amy, that was the perfect zipper to pick. Look at that way that looks on camera.
It looks so nice. So now, what about this? Well, now you can cut it. It's better to have too much zipper than not enough. So you could take, you shouldn't be doing this with your precision scissors, but that's what I have right here. Just cut the excess off, not too close to your stitches. Just cut it off. It's all going to be enclosed in here. And there you have it. So that is that part. Now, what are we going to do? Because right now, we still don't have a pocket. So we're going to turn this over. We're going to bring this part that's floppy, we're going to bring it up here to meet this edge. And we're going to baste that close first. Just baste this along the 1/8 of an inch. Whatever stitch length you're on, that's fine. I've got it on a 3 right now for top stitching. We're just basting this on, so it doesn't really matter. And now we've got to close up these pockets, the sides. So again, we're going to pull this out of our way. and stitch from here to here. And we're going to make sure that we don't have anything obstructing our seam here. Okay. Now, when you're getting down here, you're going to get into the nitty-gritty a little bit, so make sure everything's pulled back. And then I just kind of taper it off as far as I can get to it. So we got that side closed. Now we're going to do the same thing to the opposing side.
I just want to address something. Eva Sassy said she needs to learn to use that needle technique.
Oh, boy.
And we have a video on our YouTube with the self-threading needle.
Yes.
Our YouTube channel, Amy, I'm sure has linked it, but we encourage you guys to go to that and look at the
also
videos.
join our
Facebook, We'll Make Creations. We're about to get more active on that.
Yes. So if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. And then also our Facebook page, We'll Make Creations, same name as the YouTube. And like or friend or whatever you do over there. we're really going to try to start being more active over there. So we have part of our lining done, the zipper pocket lining, the zipper pocket for our lining. So that's that. Now, before we can sew our facings on here, we're going to need to make our placket. And I'm hoping that that's the next thing in the directions, because that's where I'm going. So first we're going to need to go over to the cutting table.
Yes, page 4.
Yes, page 4, and we're going to mark our plackets so that we can sew them. Now, throughout this, where are we at? Right here, preparing and marking the placket. Okay, so right now I want you to look at this. We'll get the zipper so you can get a better visual. I want you to look at this and think, okay, this is how it's supposed to look. So let's match these up. This is the easiest way to not get them confused. Match these up. Oh, wait. I was thinking about this bag, you guys. Look up here. I have done the opposite with this bag. I've used the interior fabric on the exterior. So that's the way I was lining that up. So don't do that.
Correct.
We're going to do it with the exterior fabric facing up, our interior fabric underneath. So wrong sides together. So this is the way it would look on the placket.
Installed.
This is how I'm going to line this up so I don't get it wrong, okay? And our zipper teeth are up on this. So we're just going to take the zipper and move it, and we're going to flip these like this and like this. Now, on the right sides, we are going to use our double-sided sticky tape again. And on the left sides, we're going to mark a 1/2 inch. So let me get on this board to where I have a 1/2 inch here. Here is not a good place to do that. So I want to line these edges so that I can mark a 1/2 inch on these. And this whole procedure of the placket is on our YouTube channel as well, because this may be the fiddliest part of it all. However,
it's not that fiddly.
It's not that fiddly, and if you just watch, you'll see. So, let me scoot this up just a little bit more so I can see my marking at the edge of the table. Okay, so I'm going to take my 1x16. Isn't this a 1x16? Yep. 1x16. And I'm going to just mark them all at one time. So what my goal is to mark a 1/2 inch on each of the left edges. So I'm just going to line this ruler up, 1/2 inch, like that. And I'm just going to mark this 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch.
That's getting it done in one fell swoop.
Get her done, and 1/2 inch. Okay, so now we won't get confused on what edge is what. So I'm going to just shove those out of my way, and I'm going to stand right here and do my double-sided sticky tape on the right-hand sides. So, and this is to prevent having a raw edge again. You can see how useful that double-sided sticky tape is.
Ooh, I was just about to say it. We would have been jinx yo me a cokin'. I was just about to say that.
While I'm doing this, you want to do a couple giveaways?
Sure.
I mean, they can still watch, and then they can,
I'll just yell out who won what.
or just
Or what?
they can still watch me do this. I'm going to be done by the time you get that out, though.
I've got it out.
Oh, okay, we'll do it.
All right.
Okay, so we've got all of our pieces with our double-sided sticky tape, and literally, you guys, I have hardly any left on my roll. All this part's empty, so we just made it through. Okay, so now we're going to lift these up and bend these so it doesn't have a raw edge. And just like before, we're just going to bend it up to where we're at the edge of our tape here. And set it aside. Get them out of your way. Do this to all 4 of them. I just think how much easier this is than going to try to press all these. And still try to get the 1/4 inch. And if you have to fix something really quick or something, that double-sided sticky tape really helps with that stuff. Those quick fixes. Like if I had to ever hem a pair of pants, now that I know about this double-sided sticky tape, I would totally use that.
You would get the real thick one.
I'd never stitch it. I'd just sticky tape it, and then I'd be done. So, since I have messed with these a little bit, I'm just going to match them back up. And I'm just making sure that both of the edges that we folded in are together. Okay? So, now, let's go and go to the machine, and we're going to sew our zipper, our placket pieces onto our zipper. So when we get to the machine, we are going to first attach, we're going to use our line that we marked, and that is, we're going to sew it just above that bent part of the zipper, okay? So let's see this. This belongs on this side of the zipper, right? So I like to unzip my zipper to do this. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to pull this up to where that red line is just above my teeth. So here's the front part, here's the back part. This is just the zipper.
Flip it one more time and show.
Okay, the teeth are just below this line. If I go like this, you'll see where those zipper teeth are. Okay, so we are going to baste this first piece in place. So now that I've got it up there where I want it, I'm going to follow this down, and we're just going to baste this. Oh, you know what, you guys? I'm doing it the opposite way. Literally, the last bag I made was the inside out one. So I need the gray part. I'm supposed to be doing the gray part. Hold on.
You have that one in your head.
I do, because that was the last one I made. Okay, if I take this piece, obviously it belongs on this side, not this side, right? Because there's a straight edge. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to pull this up to the red line is just above those zipper teeth. Now, you can keep it closed if you want to be able to hold on to something a little more substantial. But I like to...
That's G's new word, y'all. Substantial. This whole
Have I
pattern,
been saying
this
that?
pattern, yeah, this pattern has,
Lots of
called
substantial...
for a lot of substantial words, yeah.
Really?
You didn't realize it, but
No.
I realized it.
You
yeah.
guys, when I'm teaching, I totally have no idea what I'm saying until I watch it back. Honestly.
She was like that with the nail industry when she was teaching.
Yeah.
And people would say, well, you said this and this. And she, oh, I don't even remember saying that. Because you would cut jokes in the middle of things. And
This is all a blur. When I'm done with this, I have no idea what I have said. So I just know I just know my project. Okay. So we're just going to base this on. I am literally going right over that zipper teeth right there at the top. And just basting it on right 1/8 an inch away from the edge. Just getting this on here so I'm not having something flapping when I'm trying to do my opposite side. Okay. Now, what is important is not to extend your stitches past your piece, because you will. Now, it depends on what your thread choices are, but you don't want to do that because you're going to see it. So just go to your edge of your piece and then don't go over it. Cut that off. Remember, we just basted it on. So now we're going to match up our other piece, the underneath side, right? Because this is going to flip over, and now we're going to need the underneath side. So what you want to do here, the most important thing, is to match your folded edge, okay? So if you do this, and you know, because fabric and real life sewing, things shift, things move, things end up growing, you just want to make sure that this folded edge is exactly matching perfect, okay? Because you could flub a little bit on the other end. You can scooch it and deal with it on the other end, but this end you really need to match up. So I'm pinning it or clipping it in place. I'm going to travel up the side of the zipper edge all the way up to the top, and if everything went right, this red line will just be above those zipper teeth, which it is. Sometimes, I mean, I've done a lot of these, sometimes it's not just above the zipper teeth, okay? So if it's not, just sew where it is above the zipper teeth, okay? But the most important thing is that other end, because you can always adjust this end, all right? So we are going to start right here. I'm going to back up a couple stitches. I'm going to go across my red line. I'm going to stop to where it's 1/4 inch from the edge. I've got one more stitch to do. I'm going to just sew at 1/4 inch and get my zipper installed. So I'm just going to follow the edge of my foot along the edge of the fabric. Now I am getting ready to go over those zipper teeth, but I'm not worried about it. My machine can handle it. If your machine cannot handle it, you really make sure you're using nylon zippers. If you're doing extras of these in your kit, you got the nylon zipper. You can hand wheel and go really slow over zipper teeth if you feel like your machine is struggling. Okay, so.
I need to interrupt you.
Okay.
You're almost out of this double-side tape. Do you have any more?
Okay, I went through a whole dissertation about how I was almost done. I don't need any more.
Okay. You did that on camera just now?
Yes.
Oh, I was
See?
busy.
Uh-huh.
I was busy. Sorry.
So she don't know what she's saying either, or I'm saying.
Hey, I just noticed that I wanted to go run for it if that's what was necessary, because I didn't want you yelling at me to hand you something you didn't have.
I mean, you act like I'm so mean.
You are so mean.
Okay. 1/4 inch sew this right down along.
Who's Team Sherry?
And, and remember, do not go past your piece because it's going to show on your zipper. So we're going to go slow when we get to the edge here, and we're going to back it up a couple stitches and cut it off. We removed our clips. Now on this end here, we're going to do our precision scissors and trim this a little bit And
So girls, I gotta tell you, I got a Team Amy Zellers today for the zipper.
Oh,
the
for the
green,
green
That
zipper.
was the perfect zipper.
okay, so we have this, we trimmed it here. Now we're going to put our thumb in here, push this out, and now you have the start of your placket, and there's your bent zipper part. So on this part, I like to zip my zipper, so again, so I have something substantial to hold on to. Okay, and then I'm going to match up my folded edges that we had. I'm going to make a clip right here. I'm going to stretch this down, finger press it good. We're matched up on this end too. Okay. We're going to turn it over and just make sure this is pulled nicely. That way we can top stitch it. So once we do, we can put a few clips in it, hold it in place. And I'm going to show you that I've got a top stitch, so I'm going to put it on 3.0. That's what I was checking for. And now, obviously, this curved edge is going to get sewn in. So when I baste it right now, I'm not worried about what it looks like because it's never going to be seen. What is going to be seen are these short edges and right along the side of your zipper. So I'm going to start here on this curved part. And again, we're just making it so it's not floppy.
So it's more substantial to hold.
Okay, touche. All right, so we're doing an 1/8 of an inch with our 3.0 stitch length. Okay. And here we go. So take your time because this is going to be seen, and you want to, when you show off your bag, you want it to look nice.
I can't wait to see everybody's bags.
Me too. That's going to be the best part of the whole thing. Okay, so now I'm literally, my needle is through the zipper right now. Oh, my zipper pulls in the way of me turning this, so I'm going to move it out of my way. And then once we get to this edge again, we can just run down here and meet our other stitches, and that's all going to get sewn in there. We don't even have to meet our stitches like I just didn't do. And now we've got half of our placket in, you guys. So that's that side of our placket. Okay, now we have to do the other side. So we're going to look at it. We're going to have our exterior fabric. We're going to place it like so. Right? So we're going to flip it towards us. I'm going to go ahead and unzip this zipper, so I'm only working with the one side. I'm going to line it up here and put a clip, but first I'm going to check and make sure that this is lined up down here. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. I've got this matched up with this, right? So these folded edges are matched up. Now let's see if when we get down to the bottom, if this is going to be matched up perfectly or if it's going to need to adjust. But it doesn't matter because we can adjust it. It's right, okay? We're just going to baste this on. I'm going to get this zipper pull out of the way. I'm going to baste this first side on. If you close your zipper when you're trying to match it up, it works out a lot better. So remember, when you're starting these stitches, don't do it off of the piece of fabric. You're not wanting to stitch onto that zipper tape because it will be shown. I'm saying that over and over because ask me how I know how you don't want that to show.
Linda Vandover says, I'm no dummy. I'm team twins.
Okay, so we've got that basted on. We can look at it from this side so we can match it nicely. We're going to lay this on top of here. We're going to match that folded edge again. Remember, that's the most important. We're going to make a clip here.
If you guys don't have these wide mouth clips, you really need to get them because we use them in every project, I think.
I mean, yes.
They're so useful. You've seen it. We have them in every little basket around our sweatshop.
So, I want you to see something. So, my red line is above my zipper teeth. This is matched up perfectly down here, or, you know, as perfect as it can be. But I want you to see, if you see this unevenness, don't worry about that. See, this is going to get cut off, remember, because we're going to be sewing on that line. So don't worry if this doesn't match up perfectly, because real life sewing, sometimes it just doesn't. But it's not going to matter at all. So we're going to take this to our machine.
She meant that one, at all.
Yes. We're going to take this and we're going to sew a 1/4 inch and get this zipper put in here. Thank you. We're going to drop our needle down into our fabric, not on the zipper. Okay? We're going to do a 1/4 inch sewing until we can get this zipper installed. So guess what, you guys? You're doing 3 zippers in this bag. And I'm so excited to find out who has never done a zipper, and now you're going to make a Mega Lella bag that has 3 zippers. I'm going to stop right there on that red line. I'm going to come across, and I'm going to back stitch at the end. Going to take my precision scissors and trim it.
You're cheating. You're slowing down.
Yeah.
Do it fast.
Nope. We all know I can't say it if I'm talking fast. So I just trimmed that a little bit. I'm going to put my thumb in here and push this corner. You can trim the corner too like this.
Don't cut your stitches.
Yeah, I just don't even mess with it. It's fine. Push this out. And there you have it. You've got your bent zipper going. So I'm just going to clip this right here, but I'm going to go to the other end. First, I'm going to zip my zipper, so guess what? So it's more substantial to hold on to. Mm-hmm. Oh, I have to unclip that to do that. Okay, so let's match up our folded edges. Okay. And so you're just straightening this out, making sure your folded edges are matched up. You're going to finger press that. Going to flip this around to the side and just make sure this is pulled nicely too, and matching up on that curved edge. Okay. Nice.
Oh, it's so pretty.
I mean, I love the opposite side too, you guys. So try making.
And you have enough fabric in your
yes.
In
your kit.
In your kit, yeah.
So this is all nice here. So we're going to start stitching it. I'm still on a 3.0 stitch length because we're top stitching. That curved part doesn't matter. We're going to come across here. Stitch this. Now I'm literally right into my zipper, but it doesn't matter with this machine. If it matters on your machine, just take it slow, use your hand wheel, and don't be scared. Okay, so we got past that zipper area. And now we're just top stitching down through here. You can go faster until you really need to be precise.
You just can't help yourself, huh, G?
Nope. Okay, and now we're just gonna come down here and meet our other stitches. And now we have a whole placket piece. If it's a little wavy or whatever, you can go hit it with the iron if you want. So we are going to take our red pen and mark the centers of our placket pieces here. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to bend this, match this up, pull it nice, crease it, but like I said, I like to mark both the outside and the inside right when I crease it. That way I can see it later, because I'm old. Sometimes I can't see these markings. So the creasing thing doesn't work for me. And what I don't enjoy, and I tried it, some people, to mark the centers of things, they'll take the scissors and just cut a little notch in it and makes a little V. But I'm not very successful with doing that, so I definitely ain't going to teach it. So here I'm marking that and that. I got the centers marked on both sides of my placket pieces. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrange, give me the placket or the facing pieces, please. Thank you. And we're going to mark the center of our lining piece here. So we're going to fold it in half and mark the center. Okay, there we have it. All right, so we got the center marked here. We've got the center marked on our placket. Okay, now I know this is going to look weird because you're used to putting right sides together, and for this you need the wrong side to the right side, because this happens to be the right side of the lining. Okay, so we're going to match these two marks up right here, and we'll put a pin right through that center marking. Okay, now don't be scared because we're getting ready to sew on a curve. But it's a slight curve, and I want to explain the reason why this is a slight curve. Because when you unzip your purse, your bag, you want the biggest part of your bag is the center needs to open up wider, okay? So that's why it just has a slight curve. You can also make plackets in rectangles or what have you, but this is the way I designed this one, so that when you unzip your bag, it opens wider in the middle. Just a slight bit. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do right now before it gets on my nerves, is I'm going to put a pin and hold this pocket down into place so it's not flopping around on me. Because right now there's no way to prevent that. So I've put my pin in the center here. And now I'm going to grab a hold of this, and I'm going to meet it up here to the edge of the fabric. And I'm going to stitch very slowly and match this the whole way. Now you can either pin, just do this one side that you're going to work on first. You can pin, that way it will stay in place for you. Now we're going to raise this, and we're just going to make sure that we're sewing on the edge of the fabric, 1/8 of an inch. Stitch length doesn't matter. Mine's still on top stitching, 3.0. But I'm just basting this on. It's a very slight curve. As I'm coming up to the center, I'm going to pull my pin so it stays straight, and I'm going to hold on to my placket piece and just keep that matched up. When I get to the center, I'm going to stop. Some people do half and half. They sew the bottom half, then the top half. I don't do that. So now the second half is easier for me. I'm going to hold this up a little bit, and I'm going to ease this into this edge as I'm stitching. So I'm going to just ease it ease it, and I've got a hold of my fabric here, and I've got a hold of the placket here, and I'm kind of pushing this way and the placket this way until it meets the edge, okay? Okay. And now you've got that basted in place. Now, don't be afraid because it's a little wonky. It does not lay flat because you just sewed on a curve, okay? So it won't lay flat. It'll lay somewhat flat, but see, if I flatten this placket part, see how these edges are popping up on the, see that's popping right up. That's going to do that. Don't worry about that. Next, we're going to take our facing piece, okay, just one, and we're going to get the halfway point of this one, okay, fold it in half, kind of crease it, open it up while you can still see the crease, and mark your mark. Okay, now you are going to, this time, make your facing piece and the placket right sides together, okay? So we're going to match up this center mark here. Put a pin, just like we did. We are going to be sewing this at 1/2 inch, 240 stitch length. And just straighten it out like you did for the other piece. And with any kind of luck, it's going to be the same size. See there? How nice.
You designed it that way, G.
Isn't that something? Okay, so I did that side, and now I'm going to do this side. And there you have it. So we're going to do this at 1/2 inch seam. I'm going to back up when I first, oh, I didn't do it on the 1/2 inch. I'm so used to doing quarter. Okay, 1/2 inch. I'm going to back it up and just sew this 1/2 inch through. And you don't really need to fool with it because you've already clipped it into place. Remove your clips before you get to them so things lay flat. I'm going to sew to the midway point. I'm going to take my pin out so it's flat before I get to it. If you need to, hold this up and straighten it up so that when you push in here, you can feel that it's flat. Okay, now you're going to take this from your machine, you're going to take your precision scissors, and you're going to cut little marks. Be sure not to go up here to your stitches. You're just going to cut little slits in here so that this curve will straighten out a little better for you. At this point, it's not going to be that bad. Okay, so just a few little marks in there. Now we're going to push this open. Feel free to go and press it if you want to. It's not necessary, so I won't be doing that. We are going to top stitch this. After I flatten it out and look at it real good, I'm going to pull my lining down and just make sure this is nice and flat. And I'm going to top stitch this at a 3.0 stitch length. And you are top stitching the facing piece, just in case it's confusing at all. You're going to top stitch that facing piece, and all the while you're going to make sure your lining piece is not folded up into there. So we're going to top stitch this. Just stop and just make sure it's nice and pressed over here with your fingers. We have any questions?
No, you're such a good teacher that they don't have any.
Plus, you guys are going to have access to this video, and also all the written instructions is already on the site in the files. For any major questions, yep. But this,
Everyone has my number. Honestly, if you're in dire need, just text me, and as soon as I can, I will answer you.
but not today during the retreat.
Yeah, yeah. Just give me a little bit of a break after we're done.
Actually, speaking of break, it's probably whatever, when you want to take a few minute break, a 5-minute break or whatever.
Okay, we can do
We're
that
at
now because we have got one side of our lining done. And so I always, for some reason, do the side that has the interior pocket. I just always get that over with first for whatever reason. So I suggest you do it like that too.
And that's the way you wrote the instructions.
And there you have it.
Yeah.
So we will just put this.
The group is going to be open about a month after the end of the retreat. The replays available during that time.
Okay. And we're going to just set this part aside, and then when we come back after break, I mean, we're rocking and rolling.
We're almost done.
So we'll do the other facing piece.
I love it. It's so exciting to be getting to
the next one. You know, you're not having that zipper pocket lining and stuff. So, but if you put the pin in, you won't have to fool with it.
So,
okay, let's do this. We've got our one side of our lining bag done, and now we're going to do the next lining. So we are going to fold this in half to get our middle point again. This is just helpful for lining everything up. Easier that way. And while I've got this creased. Okay, I got my midpoint there. I'm going to find my midpoint on my other facing piece. While I'm making my midpoints here. We already did it on our placket piece, so it's ready to rock and roll too. Okay, so first thing we need to do is line this placket piece up to this piece. Now, like I said, it's going to feel weird and you think it's not the right way, but it is. So we're going to have our placket piece facing up, our interior lining facing up, and we're going to match these red points, the midpoints, and put a pin in there. I like to hold it up when I do this part and just kind of give it a little shaky shake and start pinning it, or I don't know why I keep saying pinning today. Start clipping it, and then you see on this edge, I just pull it down a little bit and make it fit, right? Make it match. Okay. Same on the other side. I'm anxious to see how many people's ever done a placket and what they think. And I hope you guys leave comments, because this evening...
It's probably easier to say who has never done a placket.
Well, this evening I'm going to check comments.
Okay.
It don't have to happen right this minute. We're just going to get her done. So, we're going to start this edge, and we're just basting on again. So, going to drop our needle down into here. And just on an 1/8 inch, we're just going to go right on the edge and get this basted on. You guys, I know it seems like an extra step to baste it on, but man, doesn't it make it a lot easier?
It makes it more substantial, G.
Oh no, you're not using it in the right way now. Now you're just making fun of me.
Poor baby.
So, again, if you lift up your placket and make it meet the edge, that way as you're pushing the lining to the left and you're doing your placket to the right and matching that up, it's all going to work out just great. Now, we've got that basted on. So basically, if you held it up, at this point, your interior bags should be, the right sides of the fabric should be on the inside. So if it's not, you've done something wrong. Just making you have a checkpoint right here. Now we're going to take and lay this in front of us. We're going to take our facing piece, right sides together with our placket. We're going to line up these red dots or red marks, the center spots, and we're going to throw that pin in there. We're going to do this at a 2.4 stitch length at 1/2 of an inch. Just going to finish putting this on here. Clipping it all the way to the edge. That way it'll stay nice while we're sewing it. Okay, same thing on this side. I like to have this stuff facing me when I'm trying to clip it into place. Believe me, when I was creating this, I was trying to hold things a certain way and not a certain way, and the way that I'm teaching you is all the kinks worked out. Now we're going to take this and sew it at a 1/2 inch stitch length. We're going to back stitch at the beginning and the end, taking out our clips before we get to them so we can have our fabric laying nice and flat. Every now and then you could reach down here and make sure that your lining is just nice and not bunched up underneath here to create havoc. All right, as we're getting to our center, we're going to pull it out ahead of time. That way we can have it laying nice and flat. And back stitch at the end. Pull it out and make your little snips on your curve. That way it can lay nice and flat-ish. I'm just doing these about a 1/2 inch apart or so. And we're going to flatten this out.
Gee, there's a quiz question for you.
Oh, for me.
How did you come up with this project? She plays around with stuff. And when she's in that mode, she has this look in her face. I'm gonna have to take a picture one time when she's in that creative mode. It's intense, and so I'll take a picture one time when she plays around with different objects and stuff and shapes, and she just figures out what she wants to do.
I will tell you that this curved placket, my girlfriend Dar, who is the bag maker extraordinaire, she said, you know, you can make it rectangle, but I suggest that you make it with a slight curve. And I said, I don't want to teach curves. And she said, gee, it just makes it better when the bag is open. Believe it or not, it gives you more room when the bag is open. I said, okay.
So she challenged herself,
figured it out.
and then You
But
know,
literally, you guys, I'd never done a placket. I didn't even know what a placket was. If you'd have asked me, 5 months ago what a placket was, I would have been, I don't know what that is.
but she played around and she came up with this project.
But I just knew I wanted, when I was looking down into my purse, when that zipper was closed, I wanted to know if that purse got knocked over when someone slams on the brakes or something and my purse goes flying, my stuff is not going to fall out of my purse.
That somebody would not be me. Even though it's like driving around Miss Daisy all the time because she never drives.
That's right. I don't want to. Okay, so we are going to top stitch this at a 3.0 stitch length. We're going to be top stitching on the facing part, and we're going to just keep straightening, just kind of pull your lining piece and smooth this over and just top stitch nicely.
Take a drink.
So here we go. Just smoothing this over nice.
Sheila just said, Gordon must slam on the brakes a lot.
Yes.
Well, Sherry ain't innocent in that field either. But I don't complain.
I was just about to say, you can drive yourself if you'd like.
No, I don't complain because I do not want to drive. My car goes very few places, and I'm happy with that. I'd be happy if I never had to drive again. So, we've got that nicely top stitched. Now, let's hold this up and see what we've got. Now, if you look down in your bag, this is what you're going to see. How nice is that? Your facing pieces are just an extension of your bag, your exterior bag. So, how about that? And if you unzip it, you've got your interiors. So, now, what do you do? Well, we're going to go to the ironing station because that's where I feel the most comfortable because I like to look down on the project when I'm trying to clip this to the foam. So we're going to go to the ironing station and clip this to our foam, and we will be just basting this to the foam. I do not want to fuse my foam. This is a fusible foam, but I don't like to fuse it. So we will just be basting it on here to get it ready to sew. So I like to take my foam, lay it with the scratchier side up. This way, when I'm passing it through my machine, this smooth side is what's going through, that's what's under my foot. So it'll pass through very nicely. I normally like to do the side that has that zipper first. It's just, I like to get that one out of the way but we do have our pin in it still. So when we are arranging this on here, we don't have to worry about that pocket being flipped up and put somewhere where it's not supposed to be. This top part, you want to just bunch it up out of your way because you're just looking to get this attached to your foam. So I'm going to take a bunch of wide mouth clips, and I'm going to start right here in this corner and clip that. Okay, I'm going to go across the top here, and I'm going to clip this other corner. Okay, clip it across the top. This fabric is fraying. Okay. And, this seems like it's pretty fiddly, but it's not. You can handle it. So once you get that top, just kind of pull this to where you're matching up the sides and the bottom. I like to clip it right where the facing piece meets that. And then clip your corner here and everywhere in between. All we're going to be doing is basting this on so we have one piece. Right here I just checked to make sure my pocket was nice in there, and it should be because of the pin, but if you didn't pin it, just make sure you're making sure that the pocket piece is nice and flat in here before you sew it all together. Okay. I like to be taller than my project so I can look down and just make sure that it's nicely on here. So we're going to go over to the sewing station and we're just going to base this on at 1/8 of an inch. Okay. And literally I'll just start right here where I can just get to it. Doesn't matter where you start. I'm just going to go through and make this one piece. And if it's not 1/8 of an inch, if you're more like 1/4, it's not going to matter because when we sew this, it's going to be sewn at 1/2 inch. Okay.
Gwellen would like to know how you're planning to get the pin out.
It's fine. We'll get it out. I promise. After we get this basted on, we can pull it out then because this is all, it'll all be one piece now. I mean, I could pull it out right this minute because I've already checked to see if everything was flat there, but I just wait till I'm done with this.
She just wanted to make sure you weren't going to sew it in there.
Yeah, Gwellen had my back there. I do leave.
Well, I can remember a time in your
Yes.
in
my
discovery
second one.
phases that you did
Actually,
do that.
it was my first bag.
Yeah.
It was my first bag.
She lost. She's like, "Where's my pen? Where's my pen?"
I knew I
And
hadn't
said,
taken
"You
the
sewed
pin
it
out."
in, G. You sewed." And she said, "No, I'm feeling for it. I can't feel for it."
So yeah, that really happened. Yeah, I really had to unsew something to get my pin out. So
That was
it
not
wasn't
fun.
on this part. It was on the exterior bag.
Yeah.
But
Cal's
I
here saying hello.
learned to
Cal's
pin it
here.
better.
Cal's here, G.
Hey, Cal.
Hey, Cal.
Okay, so again, we're just getting this stitched on here. Okay. Any other questions while I'm at a good point here?
Someone asked about stitch length, and if you're following what you said earlier, 2.4 on all sewing, unless top stitching is 3.0. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. I mean, literally that it doesn't matter what you based it on with. I'm still at a 3.0 right now just because I didn't change it. You're just basing it on. It doesn't matter. These stitches will never be seen, and I'm just trying to make this. See here, now this is one piece, right?
Ooh, it's getting close.
Oh my gosh. So we'll go back to the ironing station and we'll pin it nicely and do the same thing for this other side. And I could take a handful of these over there with me since I just took them off of here. So again, I'm going to lay my piece down with the scratchier side towards my fabric, smooth side down because that's going to be easier to pass through my machine. I'm going to match up this corner here. Wow, I'm pulling out all kinds of goodies in here. Ooh, look what I just found in here, a butterfly.
Bonus.
Bonus.
Finders keepers.
Now, of course, this is kind of in the way now, but just fool with it. It's worth it. However, whatever order you pin is not that crucial. Just make it match. I normally like to do the top first, but it doesn't really matter. Some things matter, some things do not. Get there however you want to get there. Okay, now just bend this out of your way. Now, one thing you will want to watch out for when you're stitching is your the tail of your placket zipper. So just kind of tuck that in there to where you make sure you're not going to sew it in. And we're going to go and baste this on. You guys are probably thinking, well, that's a lot of basting, but I promise you, it's worth it.
It makes it easier.
We'll go stitch this, and we are really on the home stretch. I'm so excited. Are you guys excited?
Yes, we're excited.
Okay.
I can hear them clapping
And giving me hearts?
yes.
Yes,
G
they are.
hearts.
And you have got a comment here saying, I love your teaching style.
Oh, who
Oh.
said that?
That's from Shelley Bernstein.
Oh,
Oh, that's so
nice,
nice.
Shelley.
That is very,
complimentary.
I love that.
Heartwarming.
Well, it's a confirmation of what you're doing.
Yeah. That it's
What you're
worth-
doing matters, and
Yeah.
so we're just basting this on real fast. And like I said, if you don't like stitching at 1/8 of an inch, you could even do this at 1/4 of an inch because it's not going to show, because you're going to end up really sewing it at 1/2 inch. And I'll tell you guys, this bag was the first time that I've ever sewn anything at 1/2 inch or an inch. So it's just something to get used to. And I will tell you, the easiest way I got there was that painter's tape. So for me, that was a big thing that I wanted to express to you guys. In case you're not used to it. A lot of you are clothes sewers, so you sew at all those other 5/8 and 3/8 and all that stuff. So if you're a quilter, you're probably just used to a 1/4 inch sewing, and so it's going to be strange for you. But I promise you, if you use the painter's tape and measure out with your measuring gauge or your ruler, it'll really be helpful for you. I just couldn't follow a marking on a plate. So that's what I had to do to be able to get her done.
G, when you're not teaching this bag, how long does it take you to make this bag from start to finish?
Well, if it's already cut, I would say I'd probably do it in maybe 3 hours and 15-20 minutes probably.
I think you did one from start to finish, G, cutting and everything in 4 hours.
Oh,
Well, it's 4 hours and 5 minutes or something like that. I can't remember something.
I can't hardly remember. It's all a blur. But it goes pretty fast when you're not stopping to teach and carrying on. So look here. We're going to raise this in the air and show you what it should look like right now.
Woohoo!
Right there and right there. So now what's very important when you're starting to sew these together are these two seams where your facing piece and your lining piece are. So you're going to want to match these up. Just like you would match seams up on anything else, that is the part that's important on this part, okay? So just travel. I'm going to stop trying to go up in the air so you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm going down through here and just clipping it up. I'm going to match this side. Now remember about your tail of your placket piece. Tuck that in there and don't sew it in. Match this side up again. clip it. And just clip all the way around. If you don't need to clip, then don't clip. But I find it helpful just to clip. But I just really always want to make sure I'm pulling my clips before I get to this area because it lays flatter. Okay? Now, I've got this all clipped. I'm going to sew it at a I'm going to sew it at a 1/2 of an inch. But this is our lining, and we're going to need to leave an opening for turning. So if you want to just take your pin and mark out, if you want to measure. You don't really need to measure. I eyeball it and say, okay, from here to here, I'm not going to sew in between this area. So from here to here, don't sew. Right here, don't sew it.
Gee, they're worried about that pin. They want to know if you took that out yet.
I did not, but it's, let's see.
Take it out now, G. So
Because I have the pin head,
to death.
look, because I have the pin head on the outside, I can just grab it at any point, but I took the pin out. There you go. There you go. Thank you, though. I mean, because you would have been saving me had it mattered. Okay, so we're going to not sew between here. So we're going to sew down the side. Do not sew that top. We're going to sew down the side and to our red mark, and we're going to really back stitch it at this red mark and at this one. So here we go, 1/2 an inch, 240 stitch length. Let's let her rip. Literally. Sorry.
No, she's going to do her speed demon stuff.
I'll slow down.
No, you won't.
Right. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you run off here or if you stop at a 1/2 inch and turn it. It's easier just because I'm not used to sewing at a 1/2 inch. I just sew right off the edge and cut it. And then I can start here like this again. Now this corner is gonna, I don't even know why I backstitched it. I was gonna say this corner don't even matter. You don't have to backstitch because you're just gonna cut this off to box the corner, okay? So sew down to this red line. We're gonna come down. I need a drink. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Sew down to this red line and then backstitch really good down to that red line. This way, when you're turning your bag, you're not going to rip your stitches. That's important. Now, we're not sewing until we get to that other line. We're going to start at that line and backstitch it really good. And come over here. I'm going to eyeball it this time and not go off of it and see if I turn it. Ooh, that was right on the money. So 1/2 inch all the way up till we get to the top. And my placket zipper is tucked in there. I can feel where it is. And so we're not going to be sewing over it, but you might want to check on that. If you want, you can clip it in there so you're for sure not going to sew over it. Okay, so this is what it should look like at this point. You've got your 1/2 inch sewing here and here. You've got this much of an opening that you didn't sew. We're going to take our 1.5 inch square and our red pin, and I know a lot of people box corners from the stitch line. I am not doing that. I'm doing it right to the edge. Drawing on my square here. Okay.
Isn't that the cutest little square? I just love it. I think I'm going to make a quilt with.
Oh my gosh, that'd be a seam nightmare.
Oh yeah, thank you.
So we're doing, see, I just saved your life there.
I know.
Okay, so we have our square that we're cutting out, and actually, I like to reinforce on either side where I'm going to be, this square is going to be missing. So I'm just going to go and stitch, reinforce that right there before we go to box the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that. Just a few stitches right there and right here. That box is getting cut off, so I just want to reinforce those stitches right there. That probably isn't totally necessary, but I like to do it, so do it if you wish.
If you like it, we love it, G.
Okay, good. I'm just doing this right where I'm going to be boxing this. Okay, there we go. Now let's cut this. Let's cut this square out with our precision scissors, or you could take it to the cutting table and do it with a rotary. Now, both corners here. I love these scissors. They had cut through anything. I will tell you guys that I've never worked with foam before, and I wasn't really wanting to, and I love this stuff now. It's with this machine, I don't know about all machines, but this machine sews through this like butter, and it really gives a nice structure to your bags. All right, so to box this corner, we're gonna pick it up right here, put our fingers in there where the fabric is, not just the lining. Put your fingers in between the fabric part, so put your finger in that hole. You are going to match up like this, open these seams up, put a clip, and this matches exactly perfect. There's no little flip-a-toise on the edges that in the end doesn't even matter, but and we're going to box these at a 1/2 inch as well. I'm going to go ahead and bend up this other corner here. So I'm going to put my fingers in, spread it apart a little bit, and open that seam up. And can you cut my mic so I could cough a minute? So now we are going to sew this at a 1/2 inch. These are matched up perfectly, and we're just going to put it in the machine. Now you might say, oh, that's a little fiddly, it's a little awkward. It smashes down beautifully. So we're just going to put it in here. If you can see, this part is just on the side of my machine, just sitting there. You want to make sure it's not going to touch this lever, but smash it, do whatever you have to do to get it into your machine to do a 1/2 inch. I'm going to reinforce by back stitching. I'm also going to make sure that my seam is open when I'm going to go across it. I sometimes back stitch that area too. Let me see. Hold on a second. I've got a little flip-a-toile that's going to happen if I don't straighten this out. Yeah, I had something flipping over on me. So I caught it.
Good catch, G.
Yes.
No
okay.
Claws.
Now that. And now we got the other side to push in there. So this really does smash good, and then it goes right back into place. Okay. Now, it's your option if you want to trim this or not. I do not. So, check this out. We have our bag. This is your whole interior bag done. Now, we're going to take our exterior bag and plop that down in there. Exactly.
That's what I said.
Now, you can determine which side, when you open your bag, which side you want your interior pocket to be. I always line this exterior pocket on the opposite side when I'm putting it in here. See the interior zippers here? You can see it because it's crazy green. So we are going to take this and just plop this down
You're...
in.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
fine.
that's right,
It,
that's right.
The straps are a little bit heavy, so when you put it in here, just wait. Open your placket zipper all the way up so you can get your exterior bag inside your interior bag, okay? So it's all like this right now. So first we want to match up those side seams, which remember, your exterior bag doesn't have a side seam, it has a crease. So remember when I marked both sides of that strap, I'm gonna match up the midpoint of that strap right here to the seam of the interior bag. So I'm going to match that up. I'm going to open this seam and put this clip in here. I'm going to go around to the other side and do the same thing, matching up that midway point of my strap, opening up that seam and clipping it up. Now kind of raise your bag up in the air, kind of push it down a little bit, and the goal is to get this all the way around clipped. So just after you have your sides done, just start walking around the whole bag, putting your clips in. And with any kind of luck, it's all just going to match up. No, it will match up. I'm just saying that. Before, it didn't match up because I had to change stuff. But
you have perfected this bag, G. It's always going to match up now.
Yeah. And remember, I still have that pin in that interior, the weirdo shaped pocket. Well, guess what? It's still going to be there when I turn this bag the right side out. So don't worry. If any of you remembered that was still in there, it's still in there right this minute. And I could pull it out right now, but I'm not going to. Just because.
You're a rebel, G.
I'm a rebel. So how about that, you guys? We've got it all clipped around. So I just kind of pick a spot and start it. Now, this M7 does not have the removable arm. So what you're just going to make sure you don't hit this when your bag is in here, when it's shoved in here, just be cognizant of your lever for your threader, okay? So we're going to just, and remember, this can be smushed and smashed and whatever.
That's what's good about that foam.
Yes. And we're going to sew this at a 1/2 inch, so that's why we still have our tape on here. We're going to just stick this in here and sew it at a 1/2 inch. I tend to always start at that daggone seam, that back seam. I don't know why, it always ends up that way. That's the spot I pick. I'm just going to back stitch a couple stitches when I very first start, and we're going to just keep this moving at a 1/2 inch. Now, please don't worry about all this except for if you have the lever over here. Just worry about what's in front of your foot and what's under your foot. This, all you have to worry about is right here. You can stop and rearrange and push and smush and stuff until you get that sewn. So don't worry about it. A lot of people's like, oh my gosh, all this. Well, don't worry about it because it's not in front of your needle.
Quilting, you worry about what's between your hands.
Right, what's in between your paddles.
Yeah, paddles, your hands, your palm.
So just arrange as you need to keep it all nice. What's happened here? The flip-a-twa going on? Let me see. Okay. So just arrange it, you guys. And right here, I'm getting ready to come to where my my strap is. I'm going to reinforce that, okay? I'm going to go back and forth on that a few times. And just, make it nice and secure. Here's the weirdo pocket that we basted down, so just make sure you're pushing and getting that sewn in nicely.
Eva said the last bag that she made was pulled through the bottom seam of an interior pocket. Have you ever tried that?
No.
Me neither.
No, because the bottom of our pocket is closed. So then you'd have to go back and do that pocket separately. And with this weirdo pocket, I would never do that on this bag. But
Here,
if
G,
you're doing it, works
take
for
a
you.
drink because I can hear it.
Thank you.
You're getting a lot of compliments. You're definitely going to want to go back and read all the comments.
Oh,
That's
I
what
will.
we do in our hotel room late at night.
They
We're all on our
They
phones.
all know, like, gee, you commented at 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you ever sleep? Not really. But thank you, you guys. And I'm just so excited because we have literally just a couple more sews. Oh, you guys, I reached up and I hit the button that makes you stop in place and tie it off. So I just got to push it and it's going to go in place for a second. Now I can keep it moving. I'm going to reverse this a little bit, reinforcing that strap area. And as you can see, I'm just arranging and stuff as I'm going through here. Keeping it at a 1/2 inch going around. Just pulling this stuff towards me. And actually we're getting ready to meet up right where we started. Back stitch a couple. And we've got her sewn. So 1/2 inch all the way around. We're going to look at this, what it looks like right now. Okay. Now, here's the fun. And one of my bag testers said this was the easiest bag she's ever had to flip right sides out. So we're going to just reach in here and start pulling this bag out. If you still have your pin in like I do,
you worry people to death like that.
Then I mean we'll take it out right now, but and I like to hold this thing up in the air like this and push out my corners. Okay, I'm going to just push out my corners. Look at this. I'm going to take that pin out. That whole time I didn't have to worry about that pocket messing me up. I'm going to push out my corners of my interior bag. Now, you can hand sew this if you'd like. That is not happening here.
Homie don't hand sew.
Homie don't hand sew except a bony closed. So I'm going to just stick my fingers in here and tuck this in a little bit. And our goal is just to sew this opening shut. Right here is where my stitches start. I take a clip and clip this so I can remember where my stitches stop here. All this is sewn. And I'm going to do it to the opposite side or opposing side here. Okay. And now I'm just going to tuck this in. You pull on it, tuck it in. I do it one side at a time, like this. And I'm going to clip this the whole way through. I'm just tucking this in about 1/4 of an inch. We're going to sew this at 1/8 of an inch just to get it closed. And now I do like to pull up my threads to start this because I don't want a rat's nest. And you will see it. I mean, if someone's looking inside your bag. But just make it nice. You did all that work. So make it nice. So we've got all this tucked in now. Okay. Now I'm going to stick this in my machine. And I'm going to pull my bobbin thread up just right where those stitches started. Going to kind of go in at a little bit of an angle. And I'm going to grab my thread. Okay. I'm going to drop my needle in and bring it up, pull my thread, get my bobbin thread up. And, you know, some of you don't want to do this step. You're just going to sew it, but I don't like the rat's nest. And if you're the kind that pulls on your thread before you start, then that'll be sufficient, I guess. But now we're just going to sew this closed at 1/8 of an inch. Like butter. I mean, this foam is a beautiful thing. It gives such great texture or structure. And
it makes it substantial, G.
if you stick your finger in here and see where your end stitches are, just go to where you're meeting that and just kind of taper off, back stitch it, cut it off. Every time you use your scissor button, you're going to have 2 little threads on the back to cut off. Just don't cut below the knot that it made. This end, we're going to bury the thread, Sherry's favorite thing to do.
Hey, I'm getting way better at that. I watched your video.
Okay. And then we're just going to bury this thread. OMG, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
We are going to have 1 more sew, and that's the top stitch, but hold on, let me snip this, give it a little scratchy scratch. Drink, show me a Coke. Okay, now let's hold this up in the air like you just don't care, and pull it apart, stuff that bag down in there, however you can get it down in there. You're just
This is so exciting.
I literally hold on to the placket parts and just push this in here. Okay. Now, I'm going to hold this up in the air again so I can get these 2 corners, the box corners. I hold on to my strap and kind of push and spread my fingers in here and push out these corners. Okay? Make them match up as best you can. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, some people don't even top stitch, but I do. I'm
seeing this thread right here from across the room, so I'm going to snip it, okay?
Yeah.
It's bothering me. Whoops.
This fabric was fraying pretty good. So, we're holding on to the top and we're pushing and lining all this stuff up in here, okay? Just smoothing it out. At the same time, this is what we're going to top stitch. So, I am going to roll and match up that seam there, making it nice and not poofy right here. If you have any threads sticking out, get rid of them. And you can use some clips all the way around. It literally kind of just lays there nice. But this is just for...
Y'all, she's getting done in time for us to do giveaways too.
Giveaways, and y'all remember that we said a 3rd session if needed. Well, we're not going to need it because you guys are going to be able to not be tied up with us and go make your Mega Lella bags. I cannot wait for you guys to post your bags. I'm going to be such a proud mama. Okay, so we've got this. I don't know where all these threads are coming from. I'm covered in them. Okay,
That's how we know you've been.
And remember when we matched up this, I said it was very important to match that up, because that's obvious. You know, if this was up here and this was down here,
if the gig line was off,
if the gig line was off, that wouldn't look nice. So, now I have got the same thread in the bobbin as I do in the top, And this is where it really matters, that and on the strap, because you're going to see the stitching on both sides. So if you hadn't already matched up your thread, this is important, unless you're going to sew your bag to where your top stitch, your top thread is showing on the outside. I'm sewing it from in here, and so what you're going to see on the outside is my bobbin thread. But I can do
always
that.
Bottom line. We always use bottom line.
No, not in this one.
Oh, you didn't?
I just sat there and told you I matched up my thread.
Oh.
See, I'm glad y'all pay attention to me. She doesn't.
Well, I've never known you not to use your bottom line.
Except in this bag. So, you guys, let's do this. We're going to put this in here. We're going to pull up our thread again. We're going to do this at 1/4 of an inch at a 3 stitch length. Just get it in there. Pull up your thread so you're not going to have anything, any rat's nest or anything like that looking on your bag.
There's a comment in here you should hear. It says, you should give away that bag to Cow.
Oh my God.
I'm sure.
So Cal is in the room.
Yeah.
And she did ask about the foot on that machine, but Cal didn't realize it's the same machine as we have at home that we have here. So there's your answer, Cal.
Okay. We're at 1/4 of an inch, and we're at a 3.0 last step top stitching. Here we go. Here we go. Now this is some pretty thick stuff, but your foam really compresses nice and sews very nicely. Linda Winter loves this foam, and I thought, whatever. But when I tried it, I was like, oh, that is really nice. So believe what Linda Winter tells you.
When you're done the top stitching on that, can you tell us what color thread you're using?
Yep. I did say it, I think, at the beginning, but I'll say it
I
again.
forgot. I think it was 2166,
Here,
but I
I
can't
can
remember.
look right quick while she's fiddling around with that.
So
it's 2166.
Oh, I was right. I didn't trust myself.
So we're just straightening, just like we did when we sewed it together. We don't have to straighten as much because it's all pretty much nicely in place. Just go a little bit slower when you're going over your straps. And as you see, I'm just smushing it out of my way so I can get this top stitch in there. Again, worry about what's in front of your needle and right under your needle. Don't worry about the whole other bag. Just get what's right here, flat, and go for it. I got off of my 1/4 inch there, you guys.
Real life sewing, y'all.
Yeah. I'm not happy about that at all. I'm not so unhappy I'm going to take it out on camera, though. We'll show you. It probably won't even show. Okay, Sherry. You guys, before you start your top stitching, clear out your area. That way you don't have to fight with anything like I just did. Okay, coming down the home stretch here. And with any luck, we'll meet right up where our other stitches are. And these are going to show, so I'm not going to really go over. I'm going to knot this off. I'm going to bury my last thread. And we're going to clean off this bag real good with all these loose threads after I bury this thread here. Ow, my finger. Ow, okay. I forgot about my finger all of a sudden. And we're going to bury this in here. When you're burying your threads, just make sure you don't go clear to the back side of whatever you're burying. And pull it, snip it, and give it a little scratchy scratch.
There you go.
We got to cut the 2 threads off the back where I used my zipper button.
Your cutter button.
Oh,
Not your
what did I
zipper
say?
button.
Okay, I kind of knew I said something wrong there. Okay, straighten her back out. Shake all these loose threads off of here, or not. Zip her up and let's look at it real good.
G, when you're tying your knot, is it just like tying your shoe?
No.
No. No, it's not.
Uh,
we have a video on that.
Yeah, we have a video and we really have it zoomed in so you can really see what I'm doing. What I'm doing is starting to make the knot. I put the needle in, I ride the knot down to the fabric and then feed it through, pull it so the knot goes in, snip it, the little scratchy scratch, and that's done. So, looky here, you guys. We did it. Got a little loose threads. Go and clean your bag up good, especially if you're going to gift it. Don't be having threads everywhere. But I always tuck my placket zipper in there. You can pull it out if you want. But there you have it. There's the inside. There's your zipper pocket. Yay. There you go. Your interior pocket in here. For me, I do it the opposite of my front zipper. Where is this? And there you have it. How about it?
Yay. And this is what you have, the opposite.
Yes.
When it's,
this is the opposite.
You have enough fabric to do these things, you guys.
So, there you have it. If you zip your zipper to pose your bags and take pictures, it'll sit nicely. You could do the strap like this, and you can get your pictures right
there
like
you
that. Go. Yay! So, depending on what you chose, you can have this on
Look
the...
in your loop.
Okay. So there you have it.